Welcome to Pull a Pin Already, a place where average veterans come to share their opinion on the world we live in. We can't guarantee you're going to like our opinions.
But we promise we're going to enjoy giving them to you.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Mike. Let's pull the pin. Dude. Hey, Jim. Got a little spectator down here.
Ah,
I want to talk about a subject that's near and dear to my heart and
oh,
yours, I'm sure.
hmm,
Families in the military.
hmm.
The difficulties of such. Raising such.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Have you had experience with that, Jim?
Well, technically, no.
Oh,
Not in active duty. I was not
okay.
married or had kids while on active duty. I have seen many families while on active duty. I've responded to many houses with families, or I've met a lot of women in the club who didn't tell me they had families. But yeah, I've got some experience. How about you, Mike?
Not that type of experience, but yes. Uh, yeah. Yeah. I've responded to a lot of families uh, with certain cases and things like that. And I did have a family while I was in the military. Um, so I guess I could speak on that and the difficulties of, deployments and how hard it is on the family. Um, but I will say this. Uh, it's hard. It's hard. And I think it's harder now when I see and I hear about, some of these young soldiers too. They're on their third and fourth deployments over to Afghanistan and or Iraq in the beginning. And it just amazes me how they keep it together, you know. And I know we had a deployment or two in a 7-8 year period, and maybe it was because of our job, a specific classification or whatever. But um, there were some military police who deployed a lot, you know, a lot
Right?
more than twice, 2 times in 8 years back then, and that was considered to be like some serious deployments, if you will. Time away from family. But now I see guys within 5 years, they're on their third deployment,
Yeah.
to Iraq and or Afghanistan. And I was like, man, do they even know you at home anymore?
Right. And think
So
about
yeah,
that.
the
I've I've
hardships.
I've seen some children born. I didn't obviously see them born, but I've seen some guys who had their kids born while they were on deployment, or
Yeah,
they were just born and they left, and
yeah,
they get back. These kids don't even know who they are yet. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
don't think the regular citizen understands that really the hard part is the family. Even families get ruined by things like that
yeah.
because the wives feel alone, and yeah,
I think it's hard. Okay. I don't think military families own the difficulties of raising a family. There's difficulties no matter where you are uh, and what you do, but keeping it in context of families in the military, I think it's just extra hard when the soldiers deploy. And I'm gonna tell you right now, what I see a lot more of now than I did back in during our time. Let's say a lot of the homes are held together by the husband.
hmm,
Because a lot more females are on deployments, and the husbands are staying home, raising the family, if you will, holding that house together. I see a lot
right.
more of that, and I think
Yeah,
it's
we
a
don't.
good thing.
I don't think it's a good thing.
No,
No,
why
because
not?
if men get good at being homemakers and all that stuff, then women will want to do that, and then we'll be right back in this cycle.
Women will want to do what?
What anything a man can do, so
Well,
they'll want to
women,
be
they,
homemakers and they want to do that again. And
yeah, but they will be able. Women can do what men do.
oh, right, right, right. But they'll want to do it more because the man's now doing it.
But the man's doing the homemaker duties. Let's say.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It'll
okay.
reverse the roles again, and then it'll be confusing for everyone.
Oh, okay. So the roles
Yeah.
were reversed before. You're saying?
No, I'm saying women used to be the women stayed at home, the men go off to war.
Right.
And so now the women are going off to war, the men will stay home. So now that's going to be like, well, how are these men doing it? Why can't we be the ones staying home? And then they'll want to go back and reverse it. And it'll get real confusing after a while. It'll just be like, all right, pick a role, pick a
Oh my
job.
lord. You know what's funny?
What,
You,
what's funny?
you had me going. I was going right there with you. I was like, huh? What? Oh, let me. Okay. Yeah. I
Well,
don't have
it's interesting too because I think people don't realize the hardships. I mean, I don't know what you were referring to about like military don't have the thing. I'm thinking if you're talking about like prison and things like that.
oh
You know,
no.
I get that. You know, where every family's got hardship.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Yeah, the thing is that these men are volunteering to be separated from their families. You know, what I mean, that's a huge
You mean
difference.
these
Than
soldiers are volunteering, right? Got you,
yeah,
Jim.
yes, right, soldier. Yeah, my bad.
Let me write
These
that down.
soldiers. Sorry, I'm still living back in the day where
Yeah,
mostly it was women at home that were
yeah,
independent wives. But you know, they volunteered. You know what I mean? I remember back in my day when I went in, there were soldiers getting married just for extra pay,
yeah.
having kids, and you're just sitting there like, what?
Mm.
Like it's just crazy. So even then, I thought it was hard. You know what the worst part to me though, and I don't want to go totally off track on this. The worst part about the having a family in the military was some of the things I watched with the people on deployments while their families were back home.
Like what?
You know, some of the behaviors and things. It wasn't like they're all sitting in their tent, you know, writing "I miss you" letters at home. They were keeping busy.
Well,
You
yeah, going
know,
out on missions and things like that.
right. Those are not the missions I'm referring to, but that was the sad and heartbreaking thing. That
What's
there
that?
were families at home struggling, and then we had people out there committing adultery that was still a crime. It's still a crime in the military, unless that's changed. They were doing adulterous things, and just you're sitting here like, don't you have a wife at home?
Mm.
Like taking care of your family, and you're out here on a deployment. You know, it was sad. It was sad to watch that.
Yeah, I think there's a balance there, though.
What's
There's a
that? Oh, you
balance.
think it's happening at home too, right?
Yeah, because you just said
Yeah, yeah.
you met some women in the
Yep.
club, and yeah, while their husbands were deployed. So I think there's a balance there. But you know, some people that's the way they dealt with the stress
Sure.
of being
Sure.
separated. You know, I'm not justifying it at all.
Now,
It's just the way
and
it
you know what?
was.
What's interesting is, you know, we started this talking about any experience with the families. That's why I didn't have a family. All the families and broken families I'd seen in my time as military police in the Army, that was one of the things I vowed. I said, I will never be married in the Army. I
Wow.
will never. And that was, I upheld that on active duty. I was still in the reserves when I had gotten married to my wife, but that was more of a part time thing anyway. So
Right.
that's why I never wanted to be married because I just saw so many broken families that were just, why even bother? So.
Do you think it was okay? Take the deployment side of the picture.
Mhm.
What else do you think made the raising a family or having a family in the military difficult?
Well, I think it's the same thing like the occupational stuff. You know, if you marry a psychiatrist, you don't think she's going to come home or he's going to come home and do psychiatry stuff on you.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, look what soldiers do. They go in, they're lockstep, they're given orders and commands. You know, their whole life is structured around discipline and things like that. So you don't think when they come home, I mean, that ties right into the kids. You know, the discipline's different.
Very
You know,
regimented.
right? So that affects a relationship, and not every relationship can handle that kind of stuff.
Mm.
So
I think one thing is what's the number one job in is being in the military. You're a soldier 24 hours a day.
right,
You know what I mean? So it's not just you go do a 9 to 5. Something happened after work, and you have to respond. Especially as leaders, once you reach that level, you had
right,
to go pick up soldiers, take care of soldiers. You had additional family, that outside family, that unit family, where
right,
you had to some duties you had to take care of. And let's just call it what it was. You had to take care of some more kids that were
right.
not your biological family. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, it's their military family, but that was a part of your job as well. You know, so that right there in itself can be a stressor that you
right.
bring to the house. And you know, I've seen it. I've seen it where people just lost it, man, because they had to deal with that outside entity, which the military family, and they had a duty to do so. So that brought stress in the house.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think with that stress, you know, we have ways of, you know, suppressing that, which a lot of military guys. I mean, it's not a surprise. I think it's a culture problem, period. But you know, if guys start drinking, they start
Yeah.
And then that creates a whole nother dynamic in the family when you got the discipline structure kind of drill sergeant thing with a drunk guy, and yeah, it creates a bigger problem.
Yeah, and I have yet to. I think in my 11 years military, I don't think I've met 11 people that I got to know personal. Was personable with them. I don't think I met 11 people who didn't drink alcohol.
Yeah, I
Not
don't know
saying
if
everyone was an abuser,
right.
but the majority, 99 point whatever percent, they indulged at some level.
Yeah, I might even say even out through all my time in the military, I might have met two or three. Some I probably wouldn't have known, you know what I mean?
Right.
But two or three that outright said they didn't drink,
Yeah.
you know? So that was a thing. Yeah, it was a rite of passage almost at one point because that's, when I went in, I was only 18, Germany,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I
Oh yeah,
mean?
party
So
central.
many
I was like,
times I
oh
I woke up, where the heck am I?
yeah,
Words written all across my face,
yeah,
all that stuff.
no,
Yeah, it's initiation. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. They take you out and they get you plastered. Some people they
Yep.
leave you out there, say find your way home.
That never happened, but yeah, I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It
Yeah.
was, some people do that. I mean, the military has changed since, but it's just like you say. That's the way they cope with that 24 hours duty. Let's say,
Right.
of being a soldier.
And just
And
even the dynamic too. I mean, we were talking about deployments, but one of the problems I always saw when we were deployed was the back in the rear. And I don't want to pick on the women but it usually was in my time, it was a lot of the women at home and a lot of the men were deployed. And there was just like this huge gossip chain of, oh, well, do you know what so and so's husband's doing over there? Oh, you know what? And it was just, I couldn't even imagine being a wife back there, not knowing if your husband's okay, safe or not, and then you're hearing rumors about stuff that you don't even know anything about. You
mhm,
know, that
yeah,
stuff was really tasking on a lot of families. And then it would come back to the soldier.
yeah,
And then it would create a problem like, oh, Mike James's wife said that this you did it.
yeah,
Oh, did he? So now I'm talking to you about what your wife said back there, which it was such drama. It was
yeah,
it was exhausting.
yeah. Back then, it could have been a lot of those reality housewife shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or that one show, I think, Military Wives, or
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, it was some show, old show. But
Yeah,
anyway, I never watched it. I just remember seeing the title. But
right. What
I always
episode?
said that I don't know,
I don't
but I
know.
always said that I bet it's not realistic because I was thinking about what we're talking things like we're talking about right now,
Right,
and I wonder if they are mentioning some of the stressors that cause families to break up in the military. You
right.
know what I mean? But whether they did or not, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, what about the? Because aren't you in a two military family? Like you and your wife were both military. Were you
Yeah.
military? Were you married when you were both military, or you got out?
No, no, no. We're both out. That's
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you've
But
seen
that's
those,
yeah, yeah. One of the boys come home, and then next thing you know, the other one's deploying, and
right?
they literally probably within a year and a half, they seen each other for maybe a week.
Right.
I've seen that, but
Yeah.
they made it work. Oddly, oddly
I think
enough,
a
they
lot
made
of
it work.
marriages work when you don't see the spouse for a while.
Yeah, mine would.
There's
My,
nothing to fight about, right?
yeah, exactly. But no, I think the if you add the deployments in there in the actual number one job of a soldier, being a trained killer is one,
Right.
and you're 24 hours a day, that's some serious stress. That's
Sure.
some serious stress.
Sure.
And I think a lot of people don't know, and this could be a lot of soldiers today. I don't know, but back then I had good leadership who came to us and say, "Hey, what's so stressful about your job? Forget about being military police. I'm talking about when we weren't working patrol." And he said, "All you guys got to do is get up. They pay you to exercise, and then do your job for 8 hours, and you go home. Where's the stress?" And when he said that, I was like, "Wow." It's true.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
it's a lot. It's a lot like pressure and things like that. Or we tend to bring it on ourselves.
yeah, yeah,
So it's definitely true to that extent.
yeah. Some people say like 90% of your mood is because of what happened today.
Right.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't know where they get the 90% from, but
Well,
it's.
85% of statistics are made up on the spot, right?
Oh, okay, then if that's the case, then
See
hey,
what I just did right there?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, so do you think it's ultimately, if you take the deployments out, do you think it's the same amount of stress on a military family like in the civilian world?
I think that would depend on your job.
Mm,
I mean, I really think that would because if you just went to work 9 to 5 during the week, well, 9 to 5, no one ever works 9 to 5 in the military, but you know what I mean. You go in for
right,
PT, you do your job, you come home for hygiene, you do your job, you come home, sure. But then there's always the times where you're going to be called in or done this, doing that, weekend stuff. So yeah, I don't think that's any different than me playing golf instead of being on recall or something.
right.
So yeah, I don't think that's a big deal because training is training. It's not the real combat. So yeah, I don't think that's much different. I think it's all
Okay,
the extras that create the problem.
okay. Do you think there's more abuse within the family, spousal abuse, child abuse, in military families than the civilian world?
Yeah, I don't know. I want to say no because this goes back to what we were talking about before about being a military policeman versus a street cop.
Right,
To me, it's a controlled environment. So guys had jobs to lose, or military. It wasn't like you you know I don't want to judge or stereotype military people, but a lot of them didn't just come in to serve their country and be American heroes. A lot of them came in as a last resort or a way away from something, or they were escaping something, so I think they had a lot to lose there. So I don't think that they intentionally would do something to put themselves in a position to get kicked out. Unless they, of course, were protected or something by the chain of command and they knew it wasn't as a big deal. So I don't know.
mm.
Yeah, I don't know.
I say yes.
You think so? There was
Oh yeah,
more?
oh yeah, oh yeah. And the reason why is, I think. Well, let me say it like this. I think it's reported more in the military.
Okay, fair enough.
You
Yeah,
know what I
I'll buy
mean?
that.
Because I
Yeah.
think people who are abused know, and it's kind of like piggybacks off of what you were saying. They can get some type of justice or action, let's say, if that soldier's doing them some harm.
Yeah,
Whereas if you're just a regular civilian, people are like, oh, who are you gonna call? Police? And then
right.
it's just the police. But when your police and the chain of command get involved, ah,
Yeah, I've
yeah,
I've experienced that with
yeah,
civilians outside in the real world.
mm,
Like when I got back from one of my tours of duty, and there was a girl I was dating whose ex came around, and I don't want to skip you all the details, but he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna tell your commander," and I'm like, "Tell my commander, like, what are you gonna
yeah,
do?" You mean
yeah,
like,
yeah,
they use that as a threat, and
yeah,
obviously for him to think that, he knows there's an extra level there.
mm-hmm,
And I think that that's valid. So, but that goes to my point of what I'm saying is I think a lot of soldiers know
yeah,
that they didn't want their command to find out because then they're letting their comrades down, their comrades, their fellow soldiers down, and then their leaders down. You know what I mean? So
right,
yeah, I
right,
think that's definitely a factor.
okay,
That's why I thought it'd be more controlled and less prevalent.
yeah,
But I understand your point too. It is probably more reported.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I guess it's hard to say if you don't have the civilian statistics, or you really
yeah,
can't.
yeah, yeah. It's just
Yeah.
going off of our personal experience. There's no data really that we can
Right.
pull for that.
So then, what about let's talk about the kids? Because there's a couple of things I remember. I had a soldier, in fact, one of which I was just talking to recently. Uh, single mom,
Mm-hmm.
single mom, kid, full custody, um, in the military. Like what? You know what I mean? Like, and I remember some of the stories. Like, she would have to have other um, military members' spouses watch her children, and they weren't all good experiences.
Wow.
Like she had to pass the kid around to different child cares until she can get into the actual daycare, and then you know what I mean. So now I think they do better with that. But yeah, I remember some stories with that. And then what if you deploy? Like who gets your kid?
Mm.
Like you
Yeah,
have
that's
the
why. Then they had what was
family
that
care
called?
plan.
Yes, there you
Yeah,
go. Thank
yeah,
you. Yeah,
mandatory. Yep.
yep. Yeah.
But so
Even
at that point, what would you do though? Like, could you make an argument that single parents shouldn't be in the military?
I think the first argument people made was single parents, single soldiers who were parents were shouldn't deploy.
But that's garbage. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
exactly.
That's like joining the sanitation department but not picking up trash. Like, I'll drive the truck, but I'm not going to pick up the trash. Like, are you serious?
Yeah,
You don't join the military and not deploy because you got a kid. Like,
right.
everybody would do that, right?
Yeah, I guess that's why Air Force they have strict policy on new recruits. They say
Right.
you have a child, it's going to be hard to get in.
Right.
Yeah,
But you might say that's discrimination, right?
yeah,
But I
yep,
understand it. If that's discrimination, I completely get it.
yeah.
I mean, that's
It
hardship
makes
for the
yeah, it
kid.
makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah, think about the kid, and even the kids. Like even I've experienced a bit of this too. I mean, how many kids do you know that moved around so much? They
mm,
couldn't even make friends, or they're going from school to school to school to place to place. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
So that was probably tough on them too. I've kind of done that myself. Kind of lived a gypsy life here. My kids have been in different states and different schools,
Hmm.
so they kind of got a taste of that unintentionally, I think. But
But I
some of them
think,
come out, right? Some of them
yeah,
come out. Wasn't who was that quarterback in Washington that was a military kid? And, I don't know.
R2D,
Yeah,
R,
that guy, RG
yeah,
or
yeah,
RJ or
RG3, something like
yeah,
that. The
RG
third,
three,
yeah,
four,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, C3PO, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, look what I
Yeah,
started. But
he was a
yeah,
military brat, right? He got
never knew
bounced
that.
around.
Never
Yeah,
knew that.
yeah.
Yeah, he got
So
bounced
it's
around
not
the NFL too. He was hurting.
right, right.
Yeah.
But it's not like actually there's some pros and cons to that because if my kids spent 2 years in Germany and learned German and made German connections and they'd see the world. So I really see the value in it.
Yeah,
So I'm not
yeah,
saying it's all bad,
right, right.
but
Yeah,
for friends and it might be difficult.
yeah, lifetime friends.
Right.
That it'll be difficult. And
Yeah.
then they spend a lot of time in Germany or those other places, like
It was
three
3 years
years.
at
And
the
yeah,
time, wasn't
three
it?
years if you're married. Yeah,
Yeah.
hell,
Yeah. I don't
sometimes
know
it
what it
took
is
a year
now.
for your family to get there. So I
Right.
understood.
Right.
Yeah, so families raising families in the military, it's difficult, extremely difficult, especially when you throw the deployments in there. And like
And
I
what
said,
about
even if you don't, you still have that 24-hour job as being a soldier. That makes it difficult.
right? So what about when your kid gets sick? I mean, do you get some special things like in the civilian world you could take sick time or whatever, but do you get do you get to go home because your kid's sick or you know what I mean? Like all the things that pop up now in your life, as a parent here, how did they work in the military? I didn't have, that issue and I don't remember. I know we took it serious because we took family serious, so we always cut the soldiers' breaks. But
Now, you talking about single soldier parents or
well, any
just?
any of them really, to be honest with you. If you
I
got the
think
wife at home
yeah, like if
or
okay,
husband,
yeah, if they were in school and they got sick, then it was expected that whoever's at the house would
right,
take care of that. You wouldn't be going home.
right,
Yeah, and I
yeah,
think it was like a sense of duty, so to speak, because it's you don't waste that. Like a lot of people waste their sick time in the civilian world. What I see, and nah, military, you're gonna use it when you absolutely need it.
right.
Yeah, at least that was my experience. What I've witnessed.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
no sick time in the military.
Oh no, no, you're not gonna try to. Your kid with a runny nose, you're not gonna try to get out of and go
Right.
home. No, because you want to
Yeah.
save it for when something really happens.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
kidding. Right. I don't even
Yep.
remember any time I was able to just go home.
No.
Even me, if I was sick, I had to go to sick call. There wasn't
Yeah.
no. I
Yep.
don't feel like coming to work today.
Right. 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 Just give me some sick time. This hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. That didn't happen.
I mean, I knew we had ways of working around things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there was none of that stuff.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, would you do it if you obviously would you like I committed to no, there was no way I was gonna have a family because of what I saw. But if you didn't have it happen this way, would you have had a family in the military?
I probably would have. Yeah. I probably would have. And I knew it would have been hard though. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know how you have a relationship when you're in the military. Like, yeah, that time away
I don't
is
see
just a
you.
lot.
You talking about like with a soldier or?
No, no, I mean like somebody
Oh yeah,
behind
yeah,
left
yeah,
behind. Yeah, I'm not
yeah,
talking about somebody who's with you. That
yeah,
makes sense to me.
yeah.
Even though that happened a lot too, and most of them were married. But anyways, that's
Okay.
that's just my experience. That's
Yeah,
I told you. That's why I didn't want to get married in the military. I
yeah.
just saw too many broken marriages, and maybe they didn't even know, but it was just pathetic, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I could start naming names. You know what I mean? Like that's
No need for that.
I'm no, I'm not going to no, but I'm saying that's how common it was. I could be like, oh, isn't this guy married? Oh, isn't she married?
Mm.
Yeah. What are they doing? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Oh, they're on the
yeah,
recon. Oh, my bad.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
Yep.
So
I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, and I'm like, you know, and I mean, not that I've experienced ever walking in someone's house and like, who's in that picture? Like, not that I've ever experienced that,
Right.
you know, but that happened quite often, and you'd hear the stories all the
Oh,
time.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You heard the
So,
stories about how that happened
of
quite often.
course, right, of
Yeah.
course, because
Yeah.
that wasn't some common you do. I mean, no matter where they were deployed, it didn't matter. You're still all soldiers, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Even though I have to
It,
tell
it,
you,
it
my
did.
first, what's that?
Nothing. Go ahead.
My first duty station, Fort Riley, Kansas, I remember distinctly. This is my first taste of the military, and that was back in the first Gulf War. So, you know, way back. So I'm dating myself there. Um, they had a record. I think Bell South was the company. Had a
Hmm.
record number of phone numbers changed when the soldiers came back. I remember distinctly.
Wow.
They had some record there. It was in the newspaper, like record number of changes and phone numbers changed. And I remember that. I was like, are you serious? So, yeah, that was my first taste of families in the military.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
So that's why I said, that's why I made a commitment right then. That was my first year in the military. I said, I'm not getting married in the military.
Mm.
I'm not going to even put myself in this, through this,
I
you
don't
know?
blame you.
So I didn't. And fortunately, I didn't have any children while I was in the military. Well, Germany is 18 years ago, so I am 100% off the hook right now.
Okay, let's pull the pin.
Just saying,
Ooh.
Germany was probably, yeah. Anyway, we'll leave it there.
Yeah, let's just pull the pin.
Good duty
Yeah.
station. All right, let's move into our favorite subject where we pull the pin or talk about a person of the week or whatever the heck we want to do.
You have anything?
Not in particular, no.
No? Okay. Mine is gonna be um I don't have a pull the pin, but I'm gonna do a person of the week, POW again. Um and I'm gonna send a shout out because this right here took me back to a lot of people. Those people who really hold it down while the soldiers away and they keep that house together and they probably don't understand or know the amount of stress they keep away from that soldier when they're deployed, especially in a war zone. That means a lot. I've seen a lot of kids over there do some things and do some harm to themselves based off of things that were happening back in the rear. And for those of you who hold it down, those spouses, hey, I salute you. I salute you. And I salute your spouse who's over there fighting wars and defending this nation. Thank you.
That was, I mean, I want to.
Oh my
You
goodness.
run for like you should run
Wow.
for Congress, dude. That was
Oh my
amazing.
goodness.
That was amazing. And no, I do share your feelings there too.
Yeah, you
Um,
showed.
yeah. Well, no, that was just your presentation. That I was grading your presentation. That was amazing. The
Okay.
content was definitely good.
Okay.
But anyways, I kind of want to give a shout out, kind of call out. We had some guests on here that brought some really good stuff. We've had some guests on here that we really enjoyed talking with. If you guys are out there, if you happen to be watching this show, get on here, man. We miss talking to you guys. You know the open door is always here. You can come on and talk with us. Get some of your friends on because there's veterans out there. I know we don't necessarily bring everything they need, and maybe not everybody wants to come on here and put their face on TV or well, call it TV in the media. But there are people out there who can use this. So if you're not showing up, get your buddy over here come on on. Give these veterans a chance to get a voice. And we want you on here. And if you're supporting veterans, reach out. I can't say it enough. You know, what we're doing here is not for us, even though we have fun doing it. It's for you veterans out there. It's for you guys that want to get out and do something. You don't have to tinker in the garage or wherever it is you're doing, avoiding life. Get out here and live it with us. So that's kind of my shout out. We're going to keep doing our thing. We'd love to do it with you guys. So reach out. PullThePinAlready.com. Easy way to connect. So that's my shout out.
Oh, and for all the guests that he's talking about, I don't miss y'all. Maybe that'll get them on so they can curse me out or something. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure that's going to happen. So
I will say
now,
this. I will say this. The heck was his name? Sean, the one that we had Sean and Paul on. And I got a couple of people hit me up saying, "Yeah, he's the guy with the good hair." And I remember Paul said that about Sean.
Sean, are you talking about Derek?
Yeah, Sean. They call him Sean Connery.
Oh,
yeah.
So Derek's nickname. So, all right. Yeah. The one that the above average veteran?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
The infiltrator that got into our average veteran show, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Sean, get back on here, or Derek, whatever
Derek.
you want to go by. Awesome. All right. Well, that is all the time we have for this episode. That is all the time I'm going to allow Mike to interrupt me, even though he's going to try again. So I'm going to talk really fast. Until then, go check out our website, PullThePinAlready.com, and get involved. Until then, Godspeed.
And pull the pin.
Thanks for joining us here at Pull the Pin Already. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If you like what we do, go ahead and hit that like button and share this video with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. But most importantly, leave a comment below. Let us know if you agree or disagree with our opinions. Hope to see you here next time on Pull the Pin Already.